Alright, so this is the kitchen that I need to design a table for, and I'm making this kitchen, so that'll be a separate video. But so we need a table that's going to sit on the end of the kitchen island here, and my client had seen the tables I had made a while ago out of the Rimu for the school that I did. And so I imported that image in, and she really seemed to like the steel leg design rather than the overall aesthetic. And obviously it doesn't really fit in the space. So one of the criteria was that the table needed to be reasonably small. Essentially we ended up doing an 1100 by 1100 square. So if I scaled this drawing down, so obviously that doesn't look any good either. It's just too much leg, really, for the size of the table. So I thought what I could do is delete one of the legs and actually attach the table to the kitchen island, and then as an extension, which was part of the brief, that it needed to extend when they had other guests around. So the whole table could extend away from the island when needed, and I was thinking maybe some kind of contraption where I used big drawer slides to attach all of this onto the kitchen island. But it was just going to be heavy. You're going to end up scratching the floor, and one leg just didn't really look right at all. So I thought what I should do is just delete this leg and then go for something in the same style but much more slender. So got rid of all that. I ended up designing this table where I just have a square top and 40 by 40 square steel legs. So it looks nice and slender. I think it's in the right perspective, in the right proportions for the space. But of course we need to make it somehow an extendable table. So that's where I started designing how this was actually going to work. So this is a leg assembly that I came up with using all box section. The legs are on like an 8-degree compound angle. I've added a center bolt that will be screwed onto the underside of the ash top, and then obviously put some slots in to allow for the table to move. So I'm going to be running this steel section across the grain to hold the tabletop flat, and I thought I'd take advantage of the fact that the square tubing is in fact a tube, and we could slide in an extension piece into the end of that. So after I drew that onto an actual table design, I came up with this. So essentially this is what we're going to have, with two leg assemblies separately attached to the ash top, and then I could slide in the extension on each end, and so the extensions can be kept, in another room, the garage most likely in this job. So when they have people around, they can pull the table out and put an extension on each end. So I thought that was a pretty good compromise. The client really loved the idea of how the table was going to work. So what I did is send these drawings along to my steel guy, and I got him to fabricate that up. But obviously while he was doing that, I could get on with making the timber parts. So I hit both the bottom and top, obviously, with my planes. I started with the bottom with number 5 and then went on to a smoothing plane. I'd love to finish with a smoothing plane, but I just can't seem to get a consistent enough smooth finish. So I usually will sand after this process. I find this just evens out the texture really nicely. With a flat panel like this, I like to get a clear coat on both sides straight away, just to minimize it wanting to move around too much. Sanding here with 240 grit tween coats. Now I'm using Miratone's water-based satin clear finish for this. With the steel back from my fabricator, I can work out how to attach it all. The position of the first set of legs is not that critical, but the second set needs to be parallel with that first set. Now I need to shim the extensions up to be level and flat with the rest of the table, so I'm just using washers, a series of different thickness washers to make that all line up just right. Once I had it all flat and all the heights right, I had to try and get all the washers in the right place so I can then drill through them to make my drilling mark. There was really quite a tight tolerance on this telescoping tube, and I think the powder coating has made it a bit sticky. I've ended up putting some wax on this to make things slide a bit easier. Also, just being able to pull out the extension evenly on both arms and without racking it, that seems to be the real trick. Overall, I'm really happy with how it's turned out for a kind of industrially-ish style table that does a couple of different things and is going to look really good in the kitchen that I'm about to make for it, which you will see as my next video, so stick around for that. Anyhow, thanks for watching everybody, and we'll see you on the next one.